Welcome back to Josh and Kristie Stealing the Internet. I'm Josh.
And I'm Kristie. We've picked out some more great Reddit stories for you today, so let's just jump right into the first one.
Am I the asshole for expecting my sister to plan my wedding for free and demoting her to guest when she wouldn't? I also told anyone who took her side I was not helping them anymore either.
Wow. Okay, expecting your sister to plan your whole wedding for free definitely seems like an asshole move.
And then burning any bridges with people that took her side too.
Yeah, like, she is really sure that she is in the right if she's just cutting off everybody who disagrees with her.
My fiance and I have a small accounting office. We do pretty well on account of both of us being bilingual. English and Spanish for me, and English and Ukrainian for him. About 10% of my business is family and friends of the family. I have taken barter for work more often than you can imagine. All above board and documented. My aunt paid in empanadas one year. My uncle had his mom make us a huge batch of tamales. Even my dad has been helping my fiance fix up his truck. I've had to pick him up more than once because my mom stuffs him and my dad gets him loaded on aguardiente. Everyone we have ever traded with has provided fair exchange. I have done my sister's accounting since she started her wedding planning company. Obviously, she has nothing to trade, so I have been doing it for free.
Oh, okay. I was leaning towards definitely the asshole, but no, you've been doing stuff for her for years, doing her all of her accounting for free. This is just a fair trade.
Yeah, OP is an accountant. She did the numbers.
Yeah, having your sister plan your wedding for free is just, it's a fair trade. Not the asshole suddenly.
First I did it to help her get started, and now just because we fell into that rut. But now I'm getting married. I told everyone during dinner at my mom and dad's house. I asked her if she would plan my wedding and be my maid of honor. She said yes to maid of honor, but not to planning my wedding. I asked her why not, and she said I would need to pay for her services. That she can't do free stuff for family because she needs to make money at her job.
Oh, what a hypocrite.
She literally said it like I didn't know what a job was.
Oh, yeah, you with your little fake accounting career. That's not a real job.
Oh, you get paid in tamales? How cute. So I talked to my fiance and then to my parents. We told my sister that she would be getting an invitation, but that she was no longer in the wedding party. I also gave her all her files for the year on a USB drive. I said she needed to take her business elsewhere. My mom and dad told her that I was right and that they were disappointed that she wanted to make money off me after everything I did to help her.
Yeah, she's got years of accounting to pay back for.
Yeah, and your accountant is someone you want to stay on the good side of.
Yeah, and I do know that, like, planning a wedding is probably takes a lot more time than doing someone's taxes or something, but years of taxes?
Right, she could have worked something out with OP, I imagine.
I feel like one free wedding planning is worth that.
She went to social media to complain, and a few people took her side, which is fair. I don't expect everyone to see my point. But then a few started contacting me. I listened, and then asked them if I should continue working for her for free. Most said no. A few said family helps family. If I did their taxes, I told them I was not doing them this year or in the future.
What? Family helps family, but it only applies when it's OP helping her sister and not when it's her sister helping OP?
Right.
Shouldn't they be saying that to the sister too?
They tried to backpedal when I cut them off, but I held strong.
Yeah, good for you.
Let's see how paying your next accountant in tamales goes, Aunt.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna fly.
My sister says she won't come. I told her to RSVP no. She said she wasn't thinking when she said no. Not my problem. She has 2 months to get a new accountant.
So now sisters may be trying to backpedal, be like, I wasn't thinking when I said no. Please don't, make me do my own accounting and not let me come to the wedding.
Essentially, yeah.
She bluffed and was like, well, fine, I won't come to the wedding. And OP called her bluff and she didn't like that. From the title alone, I was like, asking someone to plan your wedding for free is like a huge asshole move. But no, this is, you've been doing free stuff for her for years and you just want a little reciprocation. That seems fair. So not the asshole.
Yeah, and I can see a little bit, like, maybe sister didn't think of it in the short term of that conversation, but it sounds like she said it very condescendingly when she told her, like, OP didn't know what a job was.
I need to make money at my job. I can't just do things for free. You idiot.
Yeah, from the description, that's pretty much what I was imagining, too, and it sounds like OP kind of felt like she was being taken advantage of up to this point.
I do feel like this is kind of why you shouldn't just continuously do a favor for someone, because if you do it too long, it doesn't become like something they're grateful for. It becomes something they expect. So OP has been doing her sister's accounts for years, and now sister feels like this is what she deserves. This is just how things are. She deserves this, and she doesn't need to be thankful or pay you back in any way.
Yeah, I would say that logic applies to like a certain subset of people at least. Some people are fully capable of being grateful even after you do a favor year after year. But you're right, there is a subset of people who are like, yeah, this is just expected that you're doing this for me.
They become entitled.
Top comment is just a suggestion of what to say to her. I don't mind paying for your service. By the way, here's the invoice for all the years I've done your accounting and taxes. Something must have gone wrong given that I've never received a single payment for the services provided. Your sister's a joke. NTA.
How long can you wait before legally still being able to charge someone? Is there like a statute of limitations or something like that, where you can no longer charge someone for a service you provided like 5 years ago?
There is, and it's longer than you think, but I'm pretty sure it might cap out at like 2-3 years. It's not like a decade, I don't think.
I don't know much about business, but I'd be back charging her for as much as I could.
A few people said family helps family. They should be telling your sister this, not you. NTA.
That's what I said. I was like, why does it only apply to OP and not sister?
Yeah, if family helps family, then sister should definitely be helping family too.
Plus, just as a maid of honor, you're supposed to help with the wedding planning.
That's the thing about being a maid of honor. If once you say yes, you are taking on a lot of responsibilities, and some of those are going to cost you money.
And I can't believe that she didn't even offer like a discounted rate, like a friends and family discount. She's just like, no, I'm going to charge you.
Even that might have been okay. Be like, hey, I can't quite afford free.
Yeah, because you might think like her business is new. Perhaps this is not as lucrative as one might hope. So she might be struggling financially and may need to be paid for her services, But you'd think at least she would offer as big of a discount as she could afford.
That's true. But also, OP has been doing her taxes for this business long enough that they fell into a rut, which makes me think multiple years.
Okay, yeah, so maybe it's not a new business. I don't know where I got that idea from, but...
Well, it was at the beginning, but they could be a few years in by now, and they haven't gone under, so she must be doing all right. Wait until she does look for a new accountant and find out what it's going to cost her. Paying for personal taxes is nowhere near the same level as business accounting. Now she has to pay for both.
Yeah, this is an expensive mistake on sister's part.
Yeah, I also wonder, was OP helping with payroll or anything? To what extent was OP ingrained in her business? And one more comment. That headline was pure rage bait. Had me leaping to the post ready to rip you a new one. You got me.
Yeah, me too. I was like, what an asshole move. And then we get to the story and I'm like, oh, I was wrong.
Some people on this subreddit are amazing at writing headlines, aren't they?
They are. They really get you.
But yeah, not the asshole. Stand 10 toes down on this. Sister really should have taken you up on the opportunity to balance the ledgers. Knowing you've been providing her free accounting work and tax preparation for years, good on you for standing your ground.
Am I the asshole for leaving because my sister-in-law hid my shoes to keep me from taking walks?
I mean, it's never a good sign when they have to start hiding your stuff.
My sister-in-law has 3 little ones, and her husband, my stepbrother, had to leave the country for work for a few months. I offered to stay so I could help her out where needed, and she happily accepted. I live across town, so not that far. I was there for 3 days when my sister-in-law commented on me going on daily walks. I've taken a daily walk for at least a mile since October 2018. Yes, even with a cold. Yes, even in cold weather. Yes to all of it. On nice days, the walk is usually 4 miles. At my sister-in-law's, I started taking a path that was about 2 miles.
Okay, sounds like OP has a pretty healthy ritual there.
I asked if she wanted me to watch the kids while she got some exercise, and she scoffed and said she was too busy. It must be nice. I was a little puzzled since I was offering to help, but the comments kept coming. She kept trying to poke holes. But it's not really a mile every day, right? And what would you do if you broke your foot? Would you get anxious if you couldn't take a walk?
Why does she care to this extent that she needs to come up with hypothetical situations and, debate you on it? It just sounds like a nice ritual to have.
It's good for your physical health and your mental health. What is wrong with it?
You're not like some gym rat who's spending 3 hours in the gym every day.
Then one morning, I couldn't find my shoes. My sister-in-law woke up an hour later and I was eating breakfast with the kids and I asked her. She told me to go check the back door, and when I'd gotten back, she pointed at them by the door and said I must have missed them. I took my walk after telling her that her joke wasn't funny. She was annoyed when I got back and told me that she thinks I need to see a therapist over my anxiety/obsession. I told her that I do have a therapist, and she said I clearly needed a new one because this one isn't helping. I asked her point blank, why does it bother her so much if I take a walk? She said I was supposed to be there to help her with the kids, and I'm disappearing for hours at a time. I told her that my walks take about 30 minutes, and I'm doing it while they have downtime.
Where is she getting hours from then if you were only gone for 30 minutes?
Okay, but 30 minutes with kids can feel like hours.
I guess, but she must be able to handle her own kids for 30 minutes. How integral is husband to the child raising process?
I mean, you figure the husband's leaving too to like go to work and stuff, so she's got to be alone with the kids quite a bit. Why is this half hour suddenly like a disaster?
Right? I was wondering the same thing. Like, I figured you were just there so she could get like an afternoon nap, maybe help with dinner prep.
I put my shoes in the guest room with the rest of my things, and they were gone the next morning. I just said fuck it and packed my things and left. My sister-in-law called me when I was on my way home and said I was overreacting and being childish, and this is why I am single and alone. I told her that I don't play these stupid games and that I would still pick up the girls and stay until she got home from work, but that she's on her own for everything else. Am I the asshole?
You're not the asshole. It's so weird for her to be hiding your shoes. Does she want you to be like a 1920s trad wife who doesn't need shoes because you don't leave the kitchen and you're just raising the kids? Also, you're still willing to pick the kids up and at least watch them until she gets home from work, so you're not like completely abandoning her.
Yeah, but she had you move in to help her with the kids so you could be at her beck and call 24/7, and now you're not. You're taking half an hour for yourself. How dare you?
Even if your walk was like 2 hours a day, what business is it of hers? You're over there helping even a little.
Yeah, I was like, she should be grateful for any amount of help, right?
Yeah, sounds like you're doing it for free. Maybe she has to feed you dinner. Like, you're not asking a lot.
Top comment, NTA. It is most certainly your sister-in-law who needs a therapist. Something about your wellness routine is triggering her in some way. It's weird and unhealthy. Does she expect you to be her nanny/maid on duty 24/7? Nope.
Yeah. How does sister-in-law feel about you sleeping and things? Because that's time that you could be doing the laundry.
Also, OP is offering to watch the kids so that sister-in-law can go get some exercise, and sister-in-law's like, I don't have time for that. But OP's watching the kids, so she would have time for that. She just really doesn't want to exercise and is really bothered that they are exercising.
Yeah, sounds like sister-in-law's a little stressed out. She could use the walk more for the mental health aspect. Like, OP is very clearly not the asshole. It's super normal and good to have a little mental health ritual that you save for yourself every day. Like, spend 30 minutes on the treadmill, do some yoga, something like that that just keeps you a little active and lets you relax.
I don't play these stupid games is the perfect response. She's too old to be acting like this. Shame that you had to almost act like a parent here and show her that actions have consequences. NTA.
Yeah, sister-in-law really did play a dumb game and win a dumb prize, didn't she? I guess by hiding your shoes, she was trying to prove some kind of point about this being an unhealthy obsession. I just feel like maybe she was shooting herself in the foot by trying to prove this point.
NTA, does your sister-in-law seriously think that walking a couple of miles a day is some sort of issue that needs therapy? Is she unaware of the concept of exercise? Honestly, it sounds more like she is annoyed that you get to do things away from her kids. Also, maybe she shouldn't steal other people's property.
It does sound like she's projecting her own stress onto you, doesn't it?
She is resentful that you are child-free, and she has stuck with these little goblins.
Yeah, you're able to just take a luxurious walk once a day. That's so offensive to her.
But also, sister-in-law is thinking that walk is a waste of time. If I had half an hour free, I would be doing something else. That walk is a waste of time. You have all this time and you're not even appreciating it. You're doing something dumb like walking.
I feel like that's exactly her attitude about this. You could be helping with the laundry because she is overloaded.
So Reddit is firmly NTA, but they also suggest that OP lets their stepbrother know their side of the story before wife spins it in a bad way and makes them look bad.
Hey, if you like this video so far, consider hitting that subscribe button.
Yeah, we really appreciate your support, and it lets us know that we should keep making fun content like this for you guys to enjoy.
Am I the asshole for asking my mother-in-law for advice on how she dealt with her husband's affair after she said I needed to work on my marriage when her son cheated on me?
Ooh, I feel like bringing up someone else's marriage troubles is never a cool move, but if they're digging into your business, maybe it's okay to fire back?
I am currently married to Matthew. He had an affair. I filed for divorce. His mother came to me and said I needed to work on my marriage and not give up so easy. So I asked her how she dealt with her husband's infidelity in their marriage.
I wonder how mother-in-law would feel if the roles were reversed. If OP was the one that cheated, would she be telling her son that he needed to work on the marriage? Or is it just because her son is the one who cheated and he can do no wrong? He's her precious baby.
So I asked her how she dealt with her husband's infidelity in their marriage. She started stammering and asked what I was talking about. So I said that 5 years ago, her husband had an affair.
She didn't even know?
If she expects me to work through this, I need advice.
But how could she give advice if she didn't know her husband was having an affair even until you spilled the beans? Drama. Oh, this is so drama-y.
How did she deal with her husband having an affair? I told her that Matthew had asked me not to talk about it, so I'd kept my mouth shut. She got up and left.
Well, yeah, you just bombed her marriage. I mean, her husband was the one who did it, but you're the one who spilled the beans about it.
From what I have heard, they had a massive fight. Her husband denying everything. Matthew denying he knew anything about the affair, much less telling me to act like nothing happened. My mother-in-law is pissed at her husband for cheating and at Matthew for keeping her in the dark. For the record, I just wanted her to leave me alone and think about my point of view when I made up the affair.
Oh, you lied about it. Oh my gosh, that is devious, but I kind of like it.
It's really funny from a third-person point of view, but you did chuck a grenade into that room and, close the door behind you.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I wish I had been a fly on the wall when she's confronting her husband about this affair that he never had.
That poor man.
That poor man. Yeah, poor father-in-law. Did he do anything bad to deserve this? I mean, I know mother-in-law has stuck her nose in where it didn't belong and kind of deserved this. But what about your poor father-in-law? I feel like he is taking the brunt of this little revenge scheme of yours.
The other thing about it is, I bet it was super believable if OP just brought it up in the heat of the moment and then mother-in-law didn't know, and it sounds like OP just let it slip. This could be the most believable lie ever. And OP was successful. They got mother-in-law to leave them alone.
Yeah, mother-in-law was out of there like a bat out of hell. She had to go to talk to someone about something.
OP did make an edit to add some information, and I'm having a lot of trouble finding some of their downvoted comments, so I'm going to go ahead and read it now.
Okay.
I only found out about the affair because Matthew gave me chlamydia. I found out about the other affairs while fighting with him.
Whoa, multiple affairs.
Yeah, so this was not a first offense for Matthew.
Matthew stinks.
My father-in-law said he was golfing with Matthew on Saturdays, and that they were taking overnight fishing trips. He did this to help Matthew have excuses for his absence from home. He helped Matthew cheat.
Oh, so father-in-law was helping cover up the affairs for Matthew. Okay, yeah, I no longer feel bad about you throwing a grenade in there, and blowing up the whole relationship. I felt a little bit bad for father-in-law before because you just wanted to get rid of mother-in-law, which you did, but you just pointed her straight at father-in-law, and I felt a little bit bad, but I don't anymore.
Lastly, my mother-in-law came to my home, which she owns, and gave us cheap rent, while I was packing up my stuff to move out. That's why I let her in. So, that's why mother-in-law was allowed to come in and chat.
Yeah, okay. But now I'm wondering, I think father-in-law might have had an affair. If he's so okay with Matthew cheating that he's okay helping him cover it up, I don't trust his moral compass. I think it's probably likely that he cheated on his own wife and thinks that cheating's okay. So maybe you didn't tell a lie.
I mean, there's no evidence that father-in-law has ever cheated, but he does seem okay with his son cheating, which is not great. Let's jump over to comments. OP, I'm a little confused. Did father-in-law cheat on mother-in-law? If father-in-law cheated, you are not the asshole. Mother-in-law shouldn't have raised a cheater and instead taught her son to take accountability for his actions. She honestly should be apologizing for raising a steaming POS. But if father-in-law didn't cheat and you made it up, then you're the asshole. You could have literally said to mother-in-law that rather than blame you and tell you to work harder on your marriage, then her son should have done the same thing instead of sticking his dick in someone else. Then walked away. You didn't have to ruin another marriage in the process. OP replied, I made up the affair to force her to see what she was asking me to do. So, what the actual F did father-in-law do to deserve to be called a cheater when no such thing happened? And he will now have to fix his marriage for something he never did. OP replied, I will tell her the truth. Father-in-law just helped Matthew cover up the affair.
Okay, it's nice that you are going to come clean and admit that you lied. Because, I mean, did they deserve this drama? Maybe a little bit, but it was a little bit mean.
Yeah, OP gets a lot of brownie points in my book for being willing to come clean to mother-in-law and say, hey, I made that up in the heat of the moment.
But do you think mother-in-law will believe OP that they made it up, or will mother-in-law always be suspicious of father-in-law now?
I mean, mother-in-law might be suspicious that father-in-law can't be trusted anymore because she's going to find out that he's been helping to cover up the affair.
Yeah, that's a good point. I wouldn't trust him anymore.
Another comment, you're all assholes. Your husband for cheating, your father-in-law for helping your husband hide the affair, your mother-in-law for repeatedly trying to pressure you, and you for lying and causing problems that aren't going to go away when you finally get around to telling mother-in-law the truth. Just out of curiosity, how long before mother-in-law tried to pressure you did you find out about the affair? OP says, 90 minutes after kicking him out.
Oh, mother-in-law marched right over for her baby boy to stand up for him.
Yeah, in that time frame, he probably just wandered over to their house and asked if he could stay for a while, and then explained the situation.
And then mother-in-law left to go yell at OP and be like, you need to work on your marriage.
To be fair, I don't think it was ever said that mother-in-law was yelling about it. She just was pressuring OP to work on the marriage. She could have been very quiet while being annoying about it.
But still being pushy.
Yeah, and like you said, would she be so willing to pressure them to work on the marriage if it was OP was the one that cheated? You're the asshole, and I support you for being the asshole here. Way to go.
Yeah, I do think this is one of those situations where you're an asshole, but a justified asshole.
Yeah, I can get behind calling them a justified asshole because husband did give OP an STD. So Reddit's overall judgment seems to be everyone sucks here. But while OP is the asshole, they're very justified in the fact, and they all support OP being the asshole in this situation.
Am I the asshole for not paying my neighbor?
Ooh, paying them for what? Like, services rendered? Then you're the asshole. Protection money? Not the asshole.
My neighbor is a single mom of 3 kids that are developmentally delayed. She is a stay-at-home mom that gets paid through disability for her children. One of her kids always plays with my dog through the fence. One day, I got a text from her asking if they can start taking my dog on walks because her kids love animals and it would help get them out of the house. I saw no problems with this as my dog has been raised with children and has a great temperament. I told her that it's not a problem and she can walk her whenever they want. She responded, "Great. As a single mom, I could really use the income that this will provide me."
Sorry, from that conversation, it sounded more like you were doing her a favor. Like, letting the kids hang out with the dog more. Also, why is the mom getting the money?
I was confused at this point, as we also have 3 kids, one of which is a teenager that walks our dog regularly as part of his allowance. Also, while I'm very thankful that I have a support system through my husband, he is a stay-at-home dad and I am the breadwinner. We do this to avoid daycare and it's temporary until our 2 youngest start school. This is relevant because we are also on a single-person income, and while we afford our life, we live within our means. I texted back and let her know that if we need a dog walker in the future, we will let her know and declined her offer.
Yeah, she twisted that into it being a paid job pretty fast, didn't she?
Yeah, I thought that was just like, hey, my kids love dogs. Can they hang out with your dog? Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought it sounded like, too. Like, teenager doesn't have to walk the dog today. I'm sure teenager is thrilled about that.
She then texted again, asking if our son can come and play with her daughter. I asked her for details, and once again, she says that she gets paid by other neighbors to watch their kids, and as a single mom, she can really use the income.
Why is every question that she asks you a trap?
Yeah, like inviting another kid over to play does not mean you get paid for babysitting.
No, that means your kid gets socializing.
Again, I declined, and now every interaction has been extremely tense to the point she won't even make eye contact with me or acknowledge me when we are both outside. This has been going on for 6 months. I do genuinely feel bad, but we live the way that we do to avoid paying for babysitters. I didn't explain our financial situation to her because I felt like that was our own business, but her reaction makes me feel like we are in the wrong. Am I the asshole for not being more empathetic to her situation and just paying her to walk the dog and have play dates?
I mean, you're clearly not the asshole. You're not required to explain your finances when you tell somebody that you don't want to pay him to watch your kid, especially when your husband's a stay-at-home dad. She must know your husband is a stay-at-home dad. He's there all the time. Also, I can't get over the fact that she's going to have one of her kids walking the dog and then she's going to take the money.
Well, maybe she has to walk the dog with her kid because they're not responsible enough to, keep track of the dog. I don't know.
I mean, that is definitely a possibility, but still, the way she keeps framing all these requests for work, it sounds like she's doing you a favor or you're doing her a favor, and then she's trying to hand you a bill. Actually, they all just sound like you're doing her a favor, right? Like, yeah, my kid can come and hang out. I don't mind. Yeah, your kid can hang out with my dog. I don't mind.
NTA, she tried to hustle you twice. I would not reach out to this lady again.
Yeah, and she keeps adding in, like, as a single mom, I could really use the money to guilt you into not calling her out on it.
Another comment. NTA, never accept anything from her and never ask for a favor. It's always going to come with an invoice. Make your kids aware that they should also never accept any help from her too. Trying to monetize her kids' social life is crazy work.
I mean, these days you just gotta be hustling 24/7, I guess. We're in a gig economy, after all.
Wait. Am I understanding this right? She first tried to bamboozle you into hiring her to walk your dog, which you don't need since your kid already does it. And then when that didn't work, she tried to bamboozle you again into hiring her to babysit your son when your husband is a stay-at-home dad? ROFL, this is straight out of a sitcom. OP replied, "Thank you for the confirmation because this was my reaction. I was absolutely dumbfounded and thought that I had to have been missing something because I couldn't believe the irony of the situation. Yes, the text to get paid for babysitting came the next day after the dog walking message." Like, she really needed money and was like looking for any jobs that she could hustle you out of money for.
It sounds like it. I also wonder if she needs to be paid under the table for these jobs.
Yeah, there are certain rules about like how much money you can earn or have and still get disability, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how it works because she's not the one on disability.
Yeah, it's her kid. So I don't know all the rules, but yeah, she might not, be able to have a real-time job and needs to get paid under the table.
I mean, when you're just paying your neighbor to walk the dog, it's generally under the table. So that's just how I assume this is going to go. But still, trying to trick someone into giving you a job is crazy.
So Reddit is pretty straightforward on this. They all say NTA, and this lady is manipulative. And, it's not a bad thing that she hasn't made eye contact with you or talked to you for 6 months.
Am I the asshole for not paying to have my partner's birthday gift professionally framed?
Ooh, that is a tough one with only that information. I mean, if you bought them a piece of artwork, you should have maybe had it framed. But professional framing is expensive, man.
I gave my partner a painting for her birthday by one of her favorite artists. She already owns several pieces from this artist. A while back, the artist was having a sale, and my partner mentioned she was thinking about buying one, but decided not to when she realized the price was in US dollars and not Canadian, making it too expensive. I ended up buying the piece as a surprise for her birthday. It cost me about $1,400 Canadian. Afterward, she told me it would cost around $850 Canadian to get the piece professionally framed. Apparently, this specific artwork requires a special frame and glass to properly preserve it, which is also what the artist recommends. The pieces also tend to appreciate in value, so proper framing matters.
$800 on top of his already very generous gift of $1,400 seems like asking for a lot.
Yeah, and to help your frame of reference, that's about $620 US.
Still a lot. And I don't know how well off these people are. It sounds like they're more well off than we are if they're spending this kind of money on artwork, but that's still a lot of money.
My partner is now upset because she feels that she's stuck paying for the frame, which she says isn't affordable for her. She believes that since I bought the artwork as a gift, I should have agreed to cover the framing as well, and that otherwise it's not really a gift, if she now has to spend $850 because of it. From my perspective, I already spent a significant amount on the gift itself, and I didn't realize framing would cost that much. I also didn't intend to give her a financial burden, I just wanted to surprise her with something meaningful. She has expressed frustration that she had to bring this to my attention, and that I didn't realize or come to the conclusion on my own.
But how would you? If you're not an art person, you don't know that things have to be framed or how expensive it's going to be to do that.
All I can think is that maybe OP should have done some searching questions when partner said it's too expensive.
Oh, yeah. Maybe he should have done a little bit of research into it before buying it.
Am I the asshole for not paying for the frame? There's also a quick edit. She was very grateful for the gift when I gave it to her. Tears of joy. It was a very sweet moment. So it was not instant anger.
Okay, it was instant gratitude. And then when she found out how expensive it was going to be to frame it, she was like, ugh, this is not cool.
Essentially, because it cost $600 US to frame the thing, and it cost $1,000 US to buy the thing.
Is that the right way? Is US?
I typed 1,400 Canadian into US, yes.
Oh, okay.
Because she wanted to buy it when it was 1,000 Canadian, and then she realized it was US, which is 1,400 Canadian.
I don't know. I'm leaning mostly towards not the asshole. Like, should you've done a little bit of research into like how you needed to care for the painting and like upkeep it and frame it and how much that was going to cost? Maybe. But if you're not big on the art scene, like I might not have thought to do that. And this was also a very generous gift, you know? I feel like $1,400 is, she shouldn't be asking for more.
It's right in the middle for me on the scale, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, you did a nice thing, and you honestly did not know that you would have to spend an extra $850 to have it framed. So, I can't really call you an asshole, and I can also understand her point of view of like, hey, this gift comes with a financial burden. Maybe the solution is just get her a frame and say, hey, this is your Christmas gift.
That's what I was going to say. You either need to be like, I will get you a frame for the next big gift giving event. I will have your picture professionally framed because it's just not in the budget right now. Or be like, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize this painting would be a financial burden on you. Let's sell it and I'll get you something else. See what she says to that.
Yeah, but she really likes it, right? I'm sure she doesn't want to.
But that would kind of get your point across that it's not fair for her to ask for extra gifts.
Yeah, I get that too. Is it possible to just store the painting for a while without the frame?
I do believe that that is possible and that people do that. They just store unframed artwork for a long time as it appreciates value and stuff if they're not displaying it.
Yeah, maybe that's the solution then. It's tough because the frame costs 2/3 of what the art cost.
Okay, question though. She was going to buy this painting when she thought it was less expensive, so she had the money. Why does she suddenly not have that money to spend on framing?
That's an excellent question, because she was going to spend about $1,000 Canadian on it, and then she realized she couldn't afford it. $1,000 Canadian is more than the $850 it takes to frame it. Unless she decided to buy a different art piece or something with the money, and, I don't know what the time frame is on you ordering this art.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think some discussion and compromise needs to be reached here. There are solutions, and you guys just need to talk about it.
Yeah, I like that. It almost feels like there's no assholes here, and it's just a matter of finding a solution that makes you both happy.
I want to say he's not an asshole. He's just maybe a little bit negligent to not realize how expensive framing was going to be and that he was putting a financial burden on her with this gift. But I feel like she's a little bit of an asshole for asking for more gift. Like, be grateful for what you got. I don't know. I feel like that seems very ungrateful and entitled to be like, I need more.
That is also a good point. I feel like OP's heart was in the right place at the very least.
Yes.
And I can understand partners' frustration at getting a gift that has a price tag on it.
What does Reddit think?
Reddit says no assholes here.
Okay.
Top comment. This is a tough one. I'm an artist and I collect art. And yes, framing is sometimes as expensive as the art itself, especially when it needs a glass cover for certain oil-based media that never fully dries. Each person is different though. I'd rather have a piece I really want and safely store it away until I can afford to frame it. I actually have done this several times. I do also agree that a gift with conditions that require more money to be spent is usually half a gift though. So, while I see why she is upset, I also feel she is being very ungrateful, as art is unfortunately a luxury at this point in time in history. She is lucky that she has someone thoughtful who thought of her and spent that kind of money on her. $1,400 is no joke. Plus, I would add that the 800 sounds like the amount she was willing to spend when she found out it was in US and not Canadian.
Okay, yeah, those are all very good points.
Yeah, and you're going to notice that a lot of the opinions in the comments overlap with what we said a lot. I used to work in framing. I collect animation art, and I frame my own needlework, so I'm pretty familiar with fine art framing and the eye-watering costs it involves. I love art, I love giving art, and I would never give a piece of art unframed. I also understand that not everyone knows how much framing a piece of art can cost, especially when conservation is involved. I recall so many "this is going to cost me how much" conversations when I was pricing out orders. That being said, I feel like OP should have done some due diligence and looked into how much it was going to cost to properly frame this piece before he bought it. Because yeah, he's basically given his girlfriend half a gift and doesn't seem to have any intention of buying the other half. I've bought art things for my husband and given him just the art, and then it's like, and now we're going to the framer to pick out the frame. At the very least, keep an eye out for a big frame retailer like Michael's or whatever the Canadian equivalent is when they do a big coupon. Here in the US, they do like a 75% off. My best friend got a giant stitching project done by them and she was satisfied with the work. Another comment, no assholes here. Yes, you bought an incredibly generous gift. Yes, that gift is also a burden for her, because she cannot currently afford to give it proper care. Work together to sort out something that happened from ignorance, not malice.
Yeah, that's what I think. Like, good intentions, slightly lacking in due diligence, but this is solvable. You guys just need to talk together and come up with a solution that makes both of you happy. Like, make it her next big present is the framing.
Yeah, and that seems to be Reddit's opinion too. Seems like no one's really the asshole here. Just talk with each other.
Am I the asshole for rejecting my mother-in-law's challenge and giving her instructions to learn how to knit?
Ooh, I take it from the title it was some kind of knitting challenge. I guess you're not the asshole for not wanting to do a random challenge that your mother-in-law proposed.
I am a knitter and enjoy making all kinds of things, but for the most part, I knit things for me or my husband. I don't have the heart to buy nice yarn, a pattern, and put hours into making something for someone just to watch it be treated like crap. I have no say over what others do with the things that I give them, so I just don't.
That's fair. It can be awfully devastating when you put hard work into making somebody something and then it ends up in a drawer.
Or the thrift store.
Oh, the thrift store is awful.
My mother-in-law said, "I have a challenge for you, if you're up to it." She pointed at a picture on her phone and said that the challenge was for me to make her a Sophie scarf that would match a dress. I asked her, why is she framing it as a challenge when it's just her asking me to knit something for her?
Sorry, from the way that you read it, it kind of sounds like just a playful way to ask for something. Did I not understand it right there?
I don't know. It seems a little weird for me. Like, I don't think you're capable of knitting this, but I'm challenging you to do it.
Oh, okay. I mean, I guess it depends a lot on how the tone of how she said it.
I asked her, why is she framing it as a challenge when it's just her asking me to knit something for her? She didn't have an answer and just said, if I'm up to the challenge, I can give it a try.
Will you take the challenge?
I asked my husband what I should do. He said to just flat out tell her no, but I figured it would be nice to at least meet her halfway. I asked her to send me the picture of the dress and went to my yarn store to get yarn in a color I thought would be good and a pair of needles from my own stash. I got her a Learn to Knit book.
I don't think this is going to be halfway at the end.
Yeah, I think if mother-in-law wanted to learn how to knit and make her own scarf, she would have done it. She just wants you to make it for her.
It sounds like it. I feel like halfway might have been, this is going to be your Christmas present, just so you know.
The next time I saw her, I gave it all to her and said that there is all the stuff she would need to make her Sophie scarf, except the pattern she'd need to buy herself.
So you didn't even buy the pattern?
No, you can get that yourself. She looked at it like, what the heck? And said in this pity voice, oh, you couldn't figure it out?
You failed the challenge.
I said, nope, I've made myself a few. But I thought it would be better for her to learn how to knit, and she would be able to challenge herself.
Hold on. So OP just has the pattern.
Yeah, but didn't give it to mother-in-law. She frowned at it, but didn't say anything else to me and just set the yarn aside. She did, however, go to my husband and tell him that all she had done was give me a challenge, but I hadn't even tried. He heard her out, but told her it was ultimately up to me. I have unfortunately seen her posting on her Facebook about how she doesn't get my generation and why we have to make everything so difficult. I thought this would be an interesting question to pose to you all. So am I the asshole?
I feel like your train of logic just barreled off in its own direction there. I kind of was with your husband where he told you to just say no.
Yeah, that would have been a lot easier than going to all this work of buying the yarn and the knitting needles and then learn to knit book and giving it to her. Like, what kind of point were you trying to make?
I don't know. It sounds like OP kind of went on a passive-aggressive journey, didn't she?
I mean, I'm not saying that mother-in-law didn't have it coming. It is so weird to frame a request for something as I have a challenge if you're up to it. If you have the guts to do it, do you think you can? I don't know.
The initial time that OP said that mother-in-law challenged her to do this, I'm like, well, maybe she said it in a fun way. I don't know. But she just kept saying challenge every time you and your husband talked to her about it. So I don't know if it was fun. At least not like the third or fourth time. Mother-in-law sounds like an NPC trying to give you a quest.
She kind of does. I have a challenge if you're up for it.
Yeah.
That really sounds like an NPC.
And then you ask for more information and she's like, will you accept the challenge?
And then you come back as we're like, here, I got you stuff so you can do the challenge. And they're like, you couldn't figure it out yourself?
You have failed the challenge. She kind of sounds like she doesn't have enough dialogue options. I guess you're not the asshole. But also, you're kind of the asshole.
Just say no.
Yeah, like, I'm kind of leaning towards everyone sucks here. Sounds like mother-in-law asked you for a favor in a very strange way. Instead of just being like, hey, will you make this for Christmas for me? And then you went off on a whole journey instead of just telling her, no, I don't want to do that. It's just OP even said, like, I met her halfway and went and got her just raw yarn and some used needles and a how to knit book that doesn't include the pattern she wants to do.
Yeah, that's really not helping mother-in-law at all.
It's not halfway, in my opinion. I feel like maybe halfway would have been just like, I don't feel like knitting it, but I bought you one.
But also, why is she suddenly obligated to provide a scarf for mother-in-law? Like, there's no reason she needs to go buy mother-in-law a scarf.
Yeah, but once mother-in-law issues the challenge, that's your chance to rebuttal back and be like, this looks fun. Maybe I'll do this for your birthday. You could easily, very, very easily pivot it into a birthday or Christmas gift.
Okay, on to the comments. Everyone sucks here. This whole interaction is freaking weird. Your mother-in-law making it into a challenge is odd, but it feels fairly obvious to me that she's insecure about asking you to make her a scarf directly.
Oh, I didn't even consider that it might just be like an insecurity thing.
You and your husband clearly picked up on the fact that this is her way to ask you. Everyone's got their little quirks or mannerisms when they're uncomfortable asking for something. As an outsider, it feels like she was just trying to be playful. I have older family members who do this whole song and dance instead of just asking for something plainly. You could have just said no or even asked if she'd like to learn instead. But instead, you made her buy the materials and tell her to make it herself. That's incredibly passive-aggressive.
OP could have also said, why don't we both knit one together?
Yeah, I'll teach you to knit and we'll make a scarf together. I'll make one and you make one.
Yeah. There's just a lot of options before shoving a book and yarn at her.
The comment continues. It's clear that she had no interest in learning how to knit herself. So yeah, you did assist with making this situation weirder when you could have just told her no.
Yeah, it just really sounds like OP did make the situation a lot more difficult, like mother-in-law was complaining about.
Everyone sucks here. Mom picked the wrong way to ask, but you overcomplicated it by buying the stuff and telling her to learn to knit when you could have just said no and explained why. If I were her, I would be really confused as to why you bought me all this knitting equipment instead of just telling me no.
It's because these damn kids and their damn generation
make everything so complicated.
When I was younger, we just said no and then walked to the craft store uphill both ways in the snow.
So Reddit's consensus is everyone sucks here and you guys are weird and both of you need to learn how to interact with other humans.
Am I the asshole for eating my breakfast in front of my boyfriend's dad?
Does he have an aversion to watching people eat? What's the big deal?
I do want actual fair judgment. So for full disclosure, I do not like this guy. I have never liked this guy. I've known him since I was a kid, and everything about him just annoys me. I don't think I outwardly express it, but he probably doesn't think he outwardly expresses how much he doesn't like me either. And he definitely does.
Oh no.
I'm trying to be fair in the way I explain the situation, but he would probably tell a different story. I work at the same company as my boyfriend's dad. I don't work for him. He isn't my boss. He's above me in the hierarchy, but not directly. You have to go at a 45-degree angle to get to him from me. We still see each other often and work together sometimes because that's just the nature of what we do. After my boyfriend and I first started dating officially, he told me that when he told his dad about us, he said, "You can't date that guy. We work together." Okay, well, nobody needs your permission.
I don't think that's how that works.
I mean, yeah, that's not how it works, but it could be very awkward for Dad. Especially because apparently the two of you openly hate each other.
I don't think it needs to be awkward for Dad unless he makes it awkward, but I don't know.
Yes, but to me, it feels a little bit like an extension of don't shit where you eat. Like if my son breaks up with this guy, now I have to be antagonistic towards him.
He's already antagonistic towards him, so I don't know if it'll make a difference.
You're right, it's just a net neutral, isn't it? He was never particularly nice to me before, but since then, he glares at me whenever he sees me. I do my best to ignore him, but it's pretty unprofessional.
Well, yeah, he doesn't like you. You're nailing his son.
Speaking of professionalism and lack thereof, Kristie.
Sorry.
I have been written up twice for tardiness. This isn't a huge deal, but it isn't great. It means I probably won't get promoted this year. I am one of those people that think, I have plenty of time, oh shit, I'm running late.
ADHD.
Like the time between doing good and running late doesn't exist. Yes, I know I have ADHD.
Yep.
My boyfriend, because he's awesome, has tried to help me in whatever way he can. He makes these breakfast burritos, freezes them, and puts one in the oven every morning while I'm getting ready. I take them to work with me and eat them during my commute or when I get to the office. Efficiency.
Aw, your boyfriend's so nice. That's so thoughtful.
Yeah, he likes you, OP. This morning I was standing in the office eating my burrito, loving life, when my boyfriend's dad saw me. This time, he not only glared at me, he said something. He said, "You don't have to rub it in my face that you're dating my kid." I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "I know my son made that." I didn't know what to say. I thought the situation was ridiculous. I was also annoyed at him for being such a baby about everything. I took another bite of my burrito, he scowled at me, and then walked away.
Okay, I am picturing this as him maintaining eye contact and just taking a bite of his burrito. Like, that is passive aggressive.
That's 100% what OP did.
But it is weird of the dad to be like, "I can't believe you would eat my son's burrito in front of me." Which is not a euphemism for something, okay?
I was sitting here trying not to... I was sitting here like, that sounded so dirty.
No, a literal burrito. That doesn't mean any... no.
Normally, my boyfriend is 100% on my side. When I tell him about the glaring, he says it's not okay and immature. When I texted him about the burrito incident, he said I shouldn't have taken another bite in front of him. He said that was antagonistic. Was it? I feel like his dad is a grown man and should get over it. So, are they the asshole?
Okay, Dad is definitely in the wrong for confronting you about eating a burrito at work, but I think you lose the moral high ground once you passive-aggressively, like, take a big bite at him while staring at him. Nope.
OP never admits to it being a big bite while staring at Dad, but the fact that boyfriend also said he was being antagonistic, I can't picture it any other way.
And Dad glaring at him after he's done taking that bite. Yeah, Dad was not happy about that.
But I would say, even if taking the bite wasn't really necessary, I don't think it makes you the asshole in this situation. He walked up to you and tried to start a fight.
Yeah, like, his reaction wasn't maybe the best response he could have done. But the dad was being a huge asshole and kind of had it coming.
Tough comment, not the asshole, but you do lose some points for not dramatically dragging your tongue up the side of the burrito in the most overt, campy, performative way possible, thus making the father so uncomfortable that he stops talking to you about his son at all ever again.
No, the burrito is just a burrito. It does not mean and stand in for anything, no.
We don't need to make the burrito into a euphemism. OP replied, sending this comment to my boyfriend.
I want to know what the boyfriend thinks of that.
Not the asshole, that's so weird. Your boyfriend's dad sounds like a very unhappy person to notice and be upset about that. OP replied to that, unhappy is too strong of an emotion for him. His only two feelings are indifference and mild disdain.
I don't know, this seemed like slightly more than mild disdain.
OP also adds, though, according to my boyfriend, he's not like that around his family and people he trusts. I can't prove that isn't true, but I have a hard time picturing him smiling. I have to assume that OP knew what he was getting into when he started dating his boyfriend.
Yeah, because he says he's known this guy, the dad, since he was a kid. So him and his boyfriend must have grown up as like friends or something, right?
Right. Or at least acquaintances at school. Oh, somebody replied to that. I don't know his marriage and relationship with his son, but is he bitter his wife or son don't cook for him or something? OP replied, it's funny you mentioned that. After his mom left and before we moved in together, my boyfriend did all the cooking for his dad. So you stole your boyfriend from his dad.
You stole those breakfast burritos from Dad. Those are supposed to be Dad's breakfast burritos.
Dad lost his temper because he comes into work hungry, only ate cereal for breakfast, and you're sitting there eating one of those delicious breakfast burritos that he doesn't get anymore. Which is not a euphemism. My God, it's not. Especially in this context, especially.
That's his dad and his son. No. Stop that.
Is that too far?
I don't know.
I'm sorry, one adult saying to another adult, you don't have to rub it in my face, you are dating X, means one of two things. He's jealous you are dating X because he wants to date X, or in this case, he thinks you are a piece of trash that's not good enough for his son and hates being reminded you exist. Either way, this needs to be resolved. This will make both your life and your work unbearable. Resolutions may include breaking up and or getting HR involved. I feel like breaking up isn't a resolution.
No, I think just go find a new job.
You have a man in a senior position in the company acting incredibly inappropriate with you because of your personal relationship outside of work. If you and your boyfriend have a fight and he tells daddy, you don't think he'll use his position and influence to torment you or drive you out of your job? Hell, sounds like he was ready to knock you through a wall for eating a burrito. Opie replied to that, I have really bad news about our HR department. It's his ex-girlfriend, who is also my best friend's stepmother. So she wouldn't want to get involved on either side. This place is actually the worst sometimes.
Oh my gosh, this is getting convoluted with everyone's relationships outside of work.
It sounds like every single person OP knows works at this company. Sorry to add to that. Somebody commented, is your actual boss aware of this situation? I would bring him up to speed. Also, does he not like you because you're gay, and now because you remind him his son is gay / corrupted him? Not the asshole. OP replied, fun fact about my boss. He and my boyfriend's dad have been best friends for like 30 years. This whole town is so damn intertwined, it's a mess.
Oh, it's a big old tangle. This is a mess.
And there's one more comment from OP that I wanted to read, but it's to a deleted comment. OP replied, I think there will be at least some interrogating, and I will put up with it to an extent, but draw boundaries where needed. I have some sympathy for him. He knew me as a snotty child, so it is probably hard for him to see me as an adult, even though we work together. So I will be sympathetic to a point, but only to a point. So, OP thinks that maybe father still sees him as that annoying little brat that grew up with his son.
Yeah, and I can get that. It can be hard accepting that the little kids you watched grow up are now adults, you know?
It does make you look at your own mortality and realize that you've aged the same amount.
It's terrible. But at the same point, you can't let him walk all over you, you know?
Yeah, exactly. You're not the asshole here, OP. Boyfriend's dad definitely is, and I guess you and your boyfriend need to have a chat with him about it, because it's gotten a little out of control.
Am I the asshole for telling my sister to stop mommy jacking every conversation and to let me talk about myself?
From that, it sounds like you're not the asshole. Nobody likes the people who try to make every conversation about themselves.
My sister has 2 kids, age 4 and 1. Ever since she got pregnant about 5 years ago, she pivots every conversation to pregnancy, breastfeeding, her kids, etc. We have a family group chat, and it happens anytime I try to text about something, no matter how important. When people are responding to me, she brings up something about being a mother, and everyone drops what I was saying and moves on to her.
That's the worst, when you can't even get your own story finished before they take it over.
It's been annoying me for a while. This has happened for pretty much any conversation that happens. It only doesn't happen if she is asleep or not on her phone, so that's not often. She did it after I got engaged, when I was talking about my new job, when I'm talking about my health, when I bought a new house, etc.
Wow, those are much bigger events that she's mommy jacking than I thought. I thought it was just going to be like a weekly update that she's stealing the conversation, not I bought a house, or I got a new job, or I got engaged. How do you steal I got engaged?
At the start of this week, I found out intense restructuring is happening at the company I work at, and my job situation is up in the air. I've obviously been very stressed about it and wanted to vent and get advice from family members who have been in the workforce longer than I have. After no messages all day, I text the group chat. I sent a couple of messages back and forth with a couple people in the group. Then my sister sends a picture of her baby talking about how he wants some milk. Conversations then turned to be about the baby, and I just got really upset because it happened once again, especially because I could tell by the lighting in the picture that this video was taken hours earlier.
OP is very familiar with how the sun shines into their sister's house. They're like a forensic analyst.
I privately texted her asking, for once, can a conversation be about me without you mommy jacking it? She told me that I need to grow up and that not everything is about me. She apparently then called our mom to tell her about it, and my mom told me I was an asshole to send that text and that I needed to lighten up. I'm assuming word got around because now no one will respond to anything I say in the group chat. Am I the asshole for telling my sister to stop mommy jacking every conversation and let me talk about my life?
I mean, that's kind of a tough one. Because, yeah, your sister's an asshole for just derailing the conversation like that all the time. But all of your family members also allowed the conversation to get derailed, so maybe they were done talking about it before you were. Like, you're not the asshole for being frustrated by her stealing the conversation all the time, but you did kind of snap at her, it sounds like. And that's not going to get your family on your side.
Top comment, I think mommy jacking is my new favorite word to describe narcissistic new mothers. NTA. I do also have to say that I feel like a lot of new mothers, when they become mothers, feel like they've lost a lot of their identity and all they are is mothers now. Like, they're not a person, they're a mother.
Which is true. A lot of their life is now suddenly revolving around this small human.
So a lot of new mothers do just constantly bring their child into the conversation because that's all they have to talk about. And also, I feel like your sister is probably jealous that you are hitting all these like milestones and like your life is progressing, and she is just stuck in the mother phase. So you like are getting engaged and everybody's talking about how exciting that is, and she's jealous and is like, I'm just a mom, let's talk about my kids. Which is not cool, but I can kind of understand her reasoning. I'm not getting behind it or saying it's okay, but I kind of get why she's doing it.
Yeah, I kind of have the same feeling. Like, she's obviously the asshole in this situation for constantly derailing the text thread with cute videos of the grandkid. Like, you're all talking about something else. She needs to read the room. It sounds like she's not capable of that, and it sounds like your parents and the extended family are all willing to let her completely derail any conversation with just a random video of her kid. It's like posting cute puppy photos in the middle of a serious conversation. Like, yeah, everyone's going to look at the cute puppy.
But there's a time and a place for cute puppies. And talking about when someone is might be losing their job is not that time and place.
Yeah, it's crazy to me that your sibling is in a text thread talking about how their job is up in the air because of restructuring and they're getting advice from the family. And you just walk in and post a video of your baby being cute and like, look at my cute baby.
So not helpful.
That's completely narcissistic behavior right there. So she's definitely the asshole. I feel like your private text might have made you slightly the asshole, but not nearly as much as her.
Another comment, NTA, but I would just find your support in individuals and not the group as a whole. If you have a favorite aunt or a cousin who's been through something similar, or a conversation to your mom one-on-one. This gives your sister no opportunity to hijack you, and it's less of an into the void kind of thing.
That's a good point, and it also makes me imagine like your poor cousins whose phones are just exploding with your life events. And then your sister jumping in there to talk about the baby. Like, I bet your cousins have like 45 notifications when they get back to their phone.
Like, oh, this family group chat again.
Which is kind of the point of the group chat. But sometimes I just don't want them to have a conversation while I'm trying to watch Netflix on my phone and like half my screen is constantly being taken up by their text messages.
I mean, it is kind of passive aggressive, but I wonder how it would go down if OP started a group chat without their sister in it for things like this. Would anyone notice that the sister wasn't in it, or would, they just stay on track with the conversation?
I don't know. I feel like that might not even be passive aggressive. That might just be openly aggressive, cutting her out like that. Also, sister is the asshole for telling mommy on you.
Yeah, that was a bitch move.
Yeah, you're both adults. You don't gotta tattle. In this situation, sometimes you do have to tattle to mommy no matter how old you get. I don't think this was it.
Another comment, NTA, that kind of behavior is 100% attention-seeking and deliberate, and not an accident either. Also, I'm going to add that the family members aren't all that innocent either, because they shouldn't just be immediately diverting to whatever the sister says when the moment isn't hers. They should be calling that behavior out.
Yeah, or they should at least be going back to the original conversation afterwards. Like, is it impossible for OP to get the discussion back on the rails after sister has derailed it? Just follow up on the most recent relevant text after everyone is done oohing and eyeing over her kid?
My family will often have 2 separate discussions about 2 different topics going on in the family group chat at once. It can get a little confusing, but...
And to add on to that, there's a family group chat that's just your sisters, and your parents that sometimes leaks into the main group chat. So I get half of a conversation as well.
Oh yeah, that's real confusing then. We have multiple group chats with different people for different reasons.
Which it sounds like OP might need too, because OP's not interested in sister's opinion on it. So OP, you could start a text thread with just the people you want to talk about the job with and say at the front, I didn't want to blow up everyone's phone with this. I just wanted to get your advice on this. And then you got a private room.
Without the sister there to interrupt, which is the important thing.
But also, we're only getting OP's side of the story here. Maybe everyone else in the text thread is actually done talking about your topic because none of them went back to it. But since sister is a repeat offender of doing this, that seems unlikely.
But overall, I think the sister is the asshole in this.
Yeah, she really needs to learn about social timing and when it's okay to just send a video of her kid into the middle of a chat.
Well, that's our last story for this episode of Josh and Kristie Stealing the Internet.
Hit that subscribe button and we'll see you next time.